Hey guys, welcome back to Paradise. If you're out there and you're looking at buying a used truck camper, or at least just shopping for a used truck camper, today's video is going to be specifically for you. There's going to be a lot of things in order to keep your eyes out for so you don't get scammed when you're buying a used pop-up truck camper. So today I just made a quick video on all the things that you need to keep an eye out for when buying a used truck camper. So one of the biggest things you need to keep an eye out for when you're buying a used pop-up truck camper is going to be, well, if it's made of wood, make sure you look around underneath, particularly make sure all the siding is still kind of on there, and make sure that there's no rotting wood anywhere, because that's going to be your biggest issue when buying wood. At least some of the older models are made of wood, so make sure that there's no rotting material anywhere. Next, you're going to want to make sure that everything works inside. So make sure the lights, like the running lights up top, are working. Make sure the lights inside are working. Make sure your stove is working, so the gas line is running right. Make sure the fridge is working right. Make sure all of those components are working, as well as your water pump and your water tank. Next up, you're going to want to make sure that the jacks work. Make sure that the camper comes with jacks in the first place, and make sure that they're working properly. Make sure you hook them up to your brackets to the outside here. Make sure they come with a crank or a drill bit or anything like that to make sure that they are going to be working properly. Make sure the legs connect to them, and make sure you're able to get the camper off and on with no issues. And to go along with that, make sure that the O-bolts that are connected to the camper, that connect the tie downs that are usually in all four corners here, are connected to the camper correctly. Make sure that there's no rot, there's no wiggle in those, because if they're going to start wiggling, that means they're not connected right, and you have the chance of it falling out. And if that falls out, then you kind of have to rip the whole siding off in order to get that bolt back in there. And along with that, make sure that the ways that they connect to the roof, those screws are in there properly, so those don't move at all either, because a lot of pop-up truck campers have issues with those rotting out as well. So make sure that there's supposed to be 4 screws into that piece. That's the part that latches to the top of the camper, so make sure that those are in place. All right, and some of the other big things you're going to want to watch out for is the canvas itself. Make sure that the canvas is in good shape. Make sure there's no rips or holes or mold in it. Mold you can usually clean off with vinegar and stuff, but it's just kind of a pain. So make sure that the canvas is just in good shape itself, as well as the netting itself. The netting will get old and frail as it gets older, so you might have to replace it. We just replaced ours. It's kind of a pain, but it's better just to make sure you get one that doesn't have holes in it, as well as the inside there'll be a solar shade that is with a zipper that closes. Make sure that those zippers work as well, because if those zippers fail, then that's a real pain in the butt, because you really can't replace those zippers unless you're going to replace the whole top canvas piece. Right, and lastly but not least is going to be just the roof itself. Make sure to look at the roof, make sure there's no cracks or bows in it from like snow or water sitting on it. Make sure it's all one solid piece without like somebody trying to fix it with caulking or anything like that. And then make sure that the cranking mechanism that actually makes the roof go up and down works properly. Crank it up and down a few times to make sure that that is working. Make sure no teeth are missing if it has like a tooth and rail system that makes it go up and down. And one of the biggest things to keep an eye out for is something called roof rot. So in the back of the camper, it looks like this. As you can see, mine got rot in it. So look up underneath behind like this railing here, because usually that's made of wood. And if that gets water in it, it'll rot. And that's what holds the bars that lifts up the whole roof of the camper. So if that rots, that whole back part will turn like mine does. So I had to kind of jimmy rig it in order to fix it. But that's a big issue with pop-up truck campers. So just definitely keep an eye out for that one. So there you have it, guys. Those are the biggest things you should probably keep an eye out for when buying a used pop-up truck camper. If you have any more questions about pop-up truck campers at all, just make sure to leave them in the comments below. We've been living in ours for about 7 years now, have lots of experience. Ours is completely off-grid though, so we have no electricity, no running water, anything like that, just a basic shell. But we have done a lot with the canvas itself, the roof rot, all that stuff like that. So if you have any questions on that, make sure to leave them in the comments below. Otherwise, we'll see you guys next time, guys. Bye.